Good morning. Welcome to this recess meeting of the Will County Board for May 16, 2019. We call this meeting to order. If everyone would please stand for the pledge of allegiance to the flag. County Board member Amanda Cook will lead us in the pledge and then introduce the clergy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Executive Walsh, fellow board members, and guests. This morning I am pleased to introduce Imam Muhammad Sharif from the American Islamic Association in Frankfurt. American Islamic Association, or AIA, was incorporated in Frankfurt in 1979 to provide facilities and personnel for prayer, religious and language education for all ages, social and religious interaction, and outreach programs with other faith groups, social and community organizations. In fact, AIA was one of the original founding members of a local interfaith group known as Southwest Interfaith Team, or SWIFT, which has 4 area mosques, 14 churches, both Catholic and Protestant, and a synagogue working together for interfaith dialogue, harmony, and joint community service. AIA eagerly invites visitors to its facility and is always happy to participate in projects and events that help the community of Frankfurt. Just last week, a new imam started offering his services at AIA. Imam Sharif was previously the imam at Dayton Mercy Society Mosque in Ohio for 11 years and has just moved to Frankfurt with his family. Imam Sharif conducts religious services, administering rites of faith such as marriages and funerals, provides spiritual and moral guidance, and oversees religious education, all while participating in humanitarian endeavors, social services, and welfare activities. Over the years, he has led Friday prayer services, taught at Saturday and Sunday schools, led Ramadan and holiday prayer services, conducted outreach programs, and worked with youth to give them a balanced and successful outlook on life and citizenship. Imam Sharif has been hired by AIA to continue all of these programs and services in Frankfurt. I am honored to have Imam Sharif join us today during this Muslim holy month of Ramadan, which is a time of fasting, prayer, personal reflection, community building, and is a pillar of the Islamic faith. Thank you for joining us today, Imam Sharif.
Greetings of peace, honored members of the Will County Board and guests. Thank you for inviting me to offer the opening prayers. And in return, I offer everyone here, on behalf of Muslims of American Islamic Association Mosque, the greetings of peace, love, and friendship. And since we Muslims are in the month of observing our holy month of Ramadan, based on the principles and lessons of Ramadan, we share with you our prayers and our wishes of goodwill, God consciousness, compassion, and empathy for people in need, and an elevated sense of good citizenship. Let's pray. In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful, Almighty God, we thank you for allowing us to gather together here today so that we may glorify your name. Lord, the creator of the heavens and the earth and everything in between and beyond, we ask you to bless this meeting. Lord in heaven, Lord of the day of judgment, the all-knowing, the guide, the protector, the loving, the wise, we ask you to bless the Will County Board members, and we pray for them to continue to reach decisions and laws based on justice, harmony, peace, fairness, and all that pleases you. Our Lord, Lord of Adam, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, you have revealed to mankind in the Holy Quran. In one verse you said, O people, we created you from a single pair, of a male and a female, Adam and Eve, and made you into nations and tribes, that you may know each other, not that you may despise each other. And in another verse in the Quran you said, and of his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the diversity of your languages and your colors. Indeed, in that are the signs of those who have knowledge. Dear Almighty God, we obey your desire for harmony and love. We celebrate and cherish this richness of diversity of all kinds in our communities. I conclude by asking you to shower us with your mercy, love, and forgiveness. And I ask you, Lord, to bless Will County and the United States of America. Amen. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Berry.
Here.
Frizzalone.
Here.
Ogalla.
Here.
Summers. Here. Cook.
Here.
Mustis. Moran. Rice.
Here.
Harris.
Here.
Trainier.
Here.
Fritz. Mueller.
Here.
Gould.
Here.
Van Dyne.
Here.
Balich.
Here.
Brooks.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
Ventura.
Present.
Ballinger.
Here.
Markham.
Here.
Berkowitz.
Here.
Cowan.
Here.
Tuminello.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Carlitis.
Here.
Winfrey.
Here.
24 present, 2 absent.
24 present. Quorum is present. Motion to place on file certificate of publication. Moved by Mr. Tyler, second by Mr. Van Dyne. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Berry.
Yes.
Frizzalone.
Yes.
Ogalla.
Yes.
Summers.
Yes.
Cook.
Yes.
Rice.
Yes. Sorry.
Harris.
Yes.
Trainier.
Yes.
Fritz. Mueller.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Balich.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Ventura.
Yes.
Ballinger.
Yes.
Markham.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes.
Tuminello.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Carlitis. Winfrey.
Yes.
24 affirmative.
24 quorum is carried. Motion has carried. Next up, approval of the minutes of the April meeting. Moved by Ms. Summers, seconded by Ms. Cook. Any questions? Any questions? Previous or called by Ms. Trainier, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried. Next up, we have the acknowledgement of elected officials and media presidents.
Today we have County Executive Larry Walsh, County Clerk Stanley Ferry, Recorder of Deeds Karen Stuckel, and State's Attorney James Glasgow. And for the media, we have Nick Breyer from the Farmers Weekly Review and Alex Ortiz from the Herald News.
That's good. Next up, honorary resolution. The first one is recognizing the 110th anniversary for Fort Erie Elks Lodge, and be read into the record by County Board member Annette Hartzell.
Good morning. I would like to read into the record a proclamation recognizing the 110th anniversary of the Fort Erie Elks Lodge number 167. Whereas the Fort Erie Elks Lodge number 167 was organized in Joliet, Illinois in 1909 and moved to Lockport in 1994. And whereas the mission of the Elks is that the welfare of happiness of its members be promoted and enhanced, that nobleness of soul and goodness of heart be cultivated, that the principles of charity, justice, brotherly love, and fidelity be inculcated, that its members and families be assisted and protected, and that the spirit of patriotism be enlivened and exalted. And whereas the Elks members strive to be of assistance to children and families in the community, and whereas during the past 110 years, the Elks Lodge has contributed to many charitable causes, including Morning Star Mission, Daybreak Center, Special Olympics of Illinois, Senior Services of Will County, Joliet Branch NAACP, Fairmont Food Pantry, a back-to-school picnic, Halloween party, and Easter egg hunt for the community. And whereas the Fort Erie Elks Lodge receives support from a number of individuals and groups who make possible an annual scholarship program to assist students in continuing their education. And whereas the Fort Erie Elks Lodge number 167 currently has a roster of 35 members, and whereas on May 18, 2019, the Fort Erie Elks Lodge number 167 will celebrate their 110th anniversary with a dinner at the Joliet Moose Lodge on Springfield Avenue in Joliet. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby congratulate the Fort Erie Elks Lodge number 167 on their 110th anniversary. Be it further proclaimed that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive recognize the Fort Erie Elks Lodge number 167 and express their appreciation for the contributions made to the citizens of Will County. Dated the 16th day of May, 2019, signed by Larry M. Walsh, Will County Executive, and attested Lawrence Staley Ferry, Will County Clerk. I do so move.
Moved by Ms. Parker, second by Ms. Dollinger. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried. Next up, we have a resolution, proclamation, declaring first Friday in June as National Gun Violence Awareness Day. And will be read into the record by Ms. County Board Member, Ms. Cook from the desk. Amanda?
Thank you.
I would like to read into the record a proclamation declaring the first Friday in June to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Whereas every day 100 Americans are killed by gun violence, and on average there are nearly 13,000 gun homicides every year. And whereas Americans are 25 times more likely to be killed with guns than people in other high-income countries. And whereas protecting public safety in the communities they serve is the highest responsibility of the Will County Board. And whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from people with dangerous histories. And whereas board members know their communities best and are positioned to understand how to keep their citizens safe. Whereas in June 2013, Hadia Pendleton, a teenager who was tragically shot and killed, should now be celebrating her 22nd birthday. To help honor Hadia and the 100 Americans whose lives are cut short and the countless survivors who are injured by shootings every day, a national coalition of organizations has designated June 7, 2019, the first Friday in June, as the 5th National Gun Violence Awareness Day. And whereas the idea was inspired by a group of Hadia's friends who asked their classmates to commemorate her life by wearing orange. They chose this color because hunters wear orange to announce themselves to other hunters when out in the woods, and orange is a color that symbolizes the value of human life. And whereas anyone can join this campaign by pledging to wear orange on June 7th, the first Friday in June in 2019, to help raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. And whereas the Will County Board is renewing our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the wrong hands and encourage responsible gun ownership to keep our children safe. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive declare the first Friday in June, June 7, 2019, to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day in Will County. Be it further resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive encourage all citizens to support their local community's efforts to prevent the tragic effects of gun violence and to honor and value human lives. Adopted this 16th day of May, 2019, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Cook, second by Ms. Summers.
Discussion?
Question? What, pardon me?
Yes. There is no such thing as gun violence. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Cain killed his brother Abel with a rock. There is no moral superiority of one type of violence over another. All violence is wrong. The next item on the agenda should be declaring the second Friday in June as Armed Citizens Saving Lives and Property Awareness Day, but it's not. I'm a no.
Any other comments?
Do you have a roll call on the proclamation?
I would like,
Julie?
I'd like to also make a comment. I would appreciate the opportunity to be able to read and review the proclamations prior to the meeting. I asked several times, wasn't able to get a copy of it so I could read it prior to it being read in the meeting. Part of the problem is that trying to absorb what Amanda just read, I'm not quite sure what are the county board members' actions and how are we supposed to reduce and do all we can as a county board member, encourage all citizens, and support local community efforts. I'd like more detail in the future. I believe we already do that. I believe every day we take our job seriously and we're out in the community, we're supporting our sheriff, we're supporting our local units of government. So I'm just unclear as to what the proclamation was going to, what it was going to achieve other than acknowledging this national effort. And I get that, but what I don't understand is the purpose and actually the clarification of what more do we need to do. In other words, what aren't we doing? I don't understand that. So in the future, if I could make a recommendation that we have the ability to review and see the proclamations before they are proposed, I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
Amanda?
This proclamation is to wear orange, to bring awareness to gun violence. So that is what the proclamation is meant to do. And it was given to staff approximately a week ago. So.
Mr. Balich?
I have a serious problem with the word gun violence. There's a lot of other violence, like the turkey knives on Thanksgiving, baseball bats, golf clubs, hammers, bombs, suicide bombers. So when you put the word gun violence, you're automatically assuming that the gun is the violent thing. It's the human being that's the problem, not the gun. And it's very irritating to me that that word is used like that, gun violence. We should have just taken the word gun off it and call violence. Because if you got killed by somebody beating if somebody beat your son with a baseball bat and he died, you look at him in the eyes and say, well, we're going to have Baseball Bat Awareness Month? I mean, this is absurd. use the word gun in the same sentence with violence in this way, because guns are not the problem, people are. A gun is a tool, just like a fork or a knife is, and they can be used as weapons. And battery acid can be used as a weapon. A screwdriver can be used as a weapon. I could get mad and hit somebody hard enough with this stupid tablet, and it's a weapon. So I refuse to vote yes to, or even come close to supporting oh man, am I mad about this. A stupid resolution saying that a gun is violent.
Any more comments?
Call the question.
Ms. Summer? Ms. Summers?
I could have done that with I was hoping that people could be more respectful. I was hoping things would go a little bit more respectfully today. There's a section I'm going to reread, and the section says, the Will County Board is renewing our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the wrong hands and encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our children safe.
Thank you. Ms. Collins?
Thank you, Executive Walsh. I'm just a little astounded that we all can't agree that a resolution on safety that affirms the Second Amendment is not something we would support in this community. I look forward to the series of resolutions that Mr. Balich will bring forth regarding fork safety in the future. That is, of course, up to him, but this is specifically talking about safety in one area, and just kind of surprised.
Mr. Balich?
You know, if we're going to start bringing up items like this, I want to bring up a proclamation to talk about execution of babies in late-term abortions and after-birth abortion, which is appalling to most normal human beings. Why don't we start talking about something like that? If we want to start getting political and using the word gun, I'll start using things that are really important, like abortion. There's more babies killed with abortion than are shot with a gun. And we don't even know the number of late-term abortions when the baby is violent.
We're not on that.
Well, I'm just trying to throw it out. We're going to have a problem. We're going to be bringing political things up as proclamations. That is nuts.
Steve, that topic is not up for discussion. We got this resolution, and we're going to call the roll. Oh no, Pastor,
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Rush.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I too agree that whatever issues that are brought up on the other side to my right, I will be very respectful of and listening and will be open-minded too. However, this issue is not on those subjects. Having been personally what recently occurred in my family, I think unless you've been there, I think this is an appropriate resolution. I think the discussion is very healthy. However, this is not about a matter. I shared with a gentleman recently at lunch that I bought an SUV. And the reason why I bought the SUV is because I have some calorie-challenged grandchildren. And I had to have room for them to fit in it. And so I needed something bigger. However, the purpose of the SUV was built to transport my calorie-challenged grandchildren. However, if I use it to ram a group of people on the sidewalk, now it's called a different, in the state's attorney, Jim Bassler knows that can be called vehicle homicide, if I does that on purpose. However, it wasn't built for that reason. And so having a recent experience in gun violence, I'm 110% a supporter of this resolution and always be open-minded to whatever anybody else want to bring for discussion. Right now, it's a yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Madam Clerk, Call the roll.
Barry.
Yes.
Frizalone.
No.
Ogalla.
No.
Summers.
Yes.
Cook.
Yes.
Rice.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Trainier.
Yes.
Fritz.
No.
Mueller.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Balich.
No.
Brooks.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Ventura.
Yes.
Dallinger.
Yes.
Markham.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes.
Tumanello.
No.
Weigel.
Yes.
Prolitis. Winfrey.
Yes.
Affirmative, 6 negative.
18 affirmative, says motion is carried. Thank you, Ms. Cook. Next item, all resolutions approved by at the 8th of April 18, 2019 County Board meeting have been signed by the County Executive. First up, our first committee, Land Use and Development Committee, Mr. Markham, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. First, I'd like to open, or make a motion to open the public hearing for all land use cases.
Second.
And we can make a motion.
And so I make the motion to go on public hearing.
Moved and seconded by Ms. Cook. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Barry.
Yes.
Frizalone.
Yes.
Ogalla.
Yes.
Summers.
Yes.
Cook.
Yes.
Lucis. Oh, sorry. Rice.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Trainier.
Yes.
Fritz.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Balich.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Ventura.
Yes.
Dallinger.
Yes.
Markham.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Cowan.
Yes.
Tumanello.
Yes.
Weigel.
Yes.
Prolitis.
Yes.
Winfrey.
Yes.
24 affirmative.
24 for affirmative. We are in public hearing. Please be advised, absolutely no new evidence or information will be allowed once this land use public hearing is closed. First up, there is a valid legal objection for zoning case ZC 18-083, which will require a 3/4 majority vote on the entire county board, 20 affirmative, so of course. This item was tabled at April meeting. Then we have 7 cases to be heard today. Case ZC-1883, ZC 19-007, ZC 19-008, ZC 19-010, ZC 19-011, ZC 19-015. Is anyone, we have no speakers. Anyone that of the public wants to speak on any of these cases? Anyone want to speak on any of these cases? One more. Anyone want to speak? Mr. Tyler?
I'll make a motion to close public hearing for all land use cases.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please.
Barry.
Yes.
Frizalone.
Yes.
Ogalla.
Yes.
Summers.
Yes.
Cook.
Yes.
Rice.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Trainier,
Yes.
Fritz,
Yes.
Mueller,
Yes.
Gould,
Yes.
Van Dyne,
Yes.
Malich,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Ventura,
Yes.
Dallinger,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
Berkowitz, Cowan,
Yes.
Tumanello,
Yes.
Weigel,
Yes.
Carlitis,
Yes.
Winfrey.
Yes.
24 affirmative.
We are closed the public hearing. Mr. Markham, please continue.
First up, we have zoning case ZC-18-083, which is zoning map amendment from R2 to C2 in New Lenox Township, commonly known as vacant property on South Parker Road in Okina, Illinois, County Board District 7. I'll make a motion to remove that from the table.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Clark, who made it by Ms. Summers. Any previous roll call by Mr. Van Dyne and second by Ms. Trainier. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried. And off the table.
So the reason that we tabled this last month was because the applicant requested time to work with the neighbors and the people surrounding the development to see if they could come to some solutions, and from my understanding, they're still working on that. So I would make a motion to table this, to place this back on the table.
Move to table.
Second.
Second by Ms. Summers. Any discussion?
Previous roll.
Previous roll by Ms. Ogala, second by Mr. Rizalone. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion as taken, as passed.
Next up, we have zoning case ZC-19-005. It's a map amendment from A1 to I2 in Joliet Township, commonly known as vacant property on New Lenox Road, Joliet, Illinois, County Board District number 8, and I'll move to approve.
Moved by Mr. Markham, second by Ms. Cowan. Any discussion?
Yes.
Ms. Ventura?
Yes, in the packet there is a letter from the Joliet Township Highway Commissioner asking us to vote no on this because they feel the road cannot handle the traffic that's going to be going down there. I brought this up at land use. They did say that some box trucks would be going to this facility. However, I brought up the importance of not putting the horse before the cart, that once we zone this industrial, then lots of different vehicles can go down this roadway. It was pointed out by staff that we needed to follow the planning changes for map amendments, and so I did look at the long-term planning plan that we have for Will County and cited two areas that I think support why I voted no at land use. The first says overall new development should be coordinated and timed relative to public infrastructure. Infrastructure, particularly sewer, water services, and road improvements should be available concurrently with new development. Also, new infrastructure should be planned to be adequate for both existing and planned growth. Level of service standards should be developed to ensure that adequate public facilities are provided in both the short-term and long-term. So in this case, even though box trucks might be going on there for this particular facility, that doesn't mean that all traffic on that road would not. The other thing I looked at is the freestanding industrial and office requirements, because that since this building is in an agricultural area, it would apply under freestanding industry. On here, it does list some general principles of a development standards, such as your landscaping and signage, but goes on to say that stormwater management, environmental protections, and mass transit access must also come to standards. And says these should be approved only upon the demonstration that adequate public facilities exist and will be established at the time of opening. So since our commissioner is telling us that they currently don't exist, we are then putting the burden on our sheriff's department to ticket trucks that go down that road. So by passing this and saying, yeah, we can have light industrial there, we're adding to the problem. And I also think it's our responsibility to work with our local governments. Our highway commissioner not only sent a letter, but when it was returned to him, then he hand wrote it and walked down here and personally delivered the letter to us. I think it's important that we respect that individual's decision that this road, which is not our road, cannot handle the traffic. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Just really quick, Larry, I think I want to make sure that it's, I think I misspoke earlier, it's 19007. I misspoke, so I just want to make sure that we have that correct.
That's okay.
Previous roll.
Second.
Previous roll by
Can we do
Ms.
a roll call?
Winfrey, second by Mr. Gould. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary?
Nay.
3-1. Okay.
All right, next up, we have zoning case ZC-19-008, which is a map amendment from A1 to I2 in Joliet Township, commonly known as vacant property on Lennox Road, Joliet, Illinois, County Board District 8. It's an adjacent property, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. Markham, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any discussion? Any discussion?
Previous roll.
Previous roll, Mr. Tumanello, second by Mr. Weigel. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary?
Nay.
You're aye.
Nay, this is a nay. It's the same petitioner for 2 lots.
Okay, you show no vote. Yeah. Okay.
All right, next up, we have zoning case ZC-19-010, which is a special use permit for light equipment sale in Wheatland Township, commonly known as 12019 Spalding School Drive, Unit B, Plainfield, Illinois, County Board District number 13, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Second by Mr. Markham, who seconded? Mr. Berry.
Previous roll.
Previous roll by Ms. Mueller. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Van Dyne, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
Next
I
up,
want to be
Yeah,
yes.
I said aye.
Next up, we have zoning case ZC-19-011, which is a map amendment from A1 to E1 in Manhattan Township, commonly known as vacant property on South Kankakee Street, Manhattan, Illinois, County Board District number 2, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. Markham, second by Ms. Cook. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Berkowitz, second by Ms. Parker. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next up, we have zoning case CC-19-012, which is a variance for a wireless telecommunications tower height from 200 feet to 310 feet in Crete Township, commonly known as 1300 West New Monee Road, Crete, Illinois, County Board District number 1, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. Markham, second by Ms. Summers. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Ogala, second by Mr. Brooks. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Next up, we have zoning case ZC-19-015, which is a special use permit for the dynamic display in agricultural and residential zoning districts. This is, if you remember, we just changed the zoning ordinances to help us. This is the Crete Township Fire Protection District, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. Markham, second by Ms. Summers. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Ogala, seconded by Mr. Weigel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
That is everything that I have today for us. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 11th, 2019 at 10:30 a.m.
Thank you, Ms. Markham. Next up, Finance Committee, Mr. Harris, Chairman.
Good morning, County Executive, fellow board members,
Guinea.
and all in attendance. The first item on the agenda for the Finance Committee is the monthly financial report. We have a report from the Illinois Department of Revenue showing sales tax remitted to Will County for the month of February 2019 to be $1,366,546.22. The RTA amount received is $1,701,335.47. The total remitted is $3,067,881.69. I so move.
Moved by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Ventura. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
The next report, we have a report from the treasurer dated March 31st, 2019. I so move.
Moved by Mr. Harris, second by Ms. Trainier. Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Cook and second by Ms. Summer. All in favor, signify by saying yes.
Aye.
Contrary, motion's carried.
The next, we have a quarterly financial report for the 12 months ending November 30th, 2018 from Duffy Blackburn, Will County Auditor. I so move.
Moved by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Van Dyne. Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Dolligan. Sorry. And second by Ms. Berkowitz. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried.
We have a quarterly financial report for the 3 months ending February 28, 2019 from Duffy Blackburn, Will County Auditor. I so move.
Moved by Mr. Harris, second by Ms. Rice. Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Summers, second by Ms. Fritz. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, aye. Motion carries.
Okay, we have a resolution 119-115. This is committee funds to the University of Illinois Corrective Extension in the amount of $45,000. This will be for the fiscal year 2020. I so move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Gould. Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Chumanello, second by Mr. Weigel. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary,
I'm going to be a no. No. On the extension. I was trying to get your attention for discussion.
Please no to.
No, Chumanello and Ballard.
Just a philosophical difference. I just think we continue to ratchet these things up. I'd rather just, keep the money within our coffers instead of moving them. So,
Okay.
I'll be a no. Thank you, Nick.
Mr. Harris.
We also have resolution 19-116. It's authorizing county executive to execute necessary documents for the delinquent tax program. I so move.
Moved by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Van Dyne. Previous roll by Ms. Collins, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried. You want to be a yes on this one?
Yes.
Yep. This one's okay?
Yes. This
Okay.
one's okay. It's not going to break the bank.
Reverend were the ones that are okay. Mr. Harris.
Okay, the next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for June 4th, 2019 at 10 a.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Public Works and Transportation Committee, Mr. Moran, Chairman. Mr. Van Dyne. Mr. Van Dyne, Vice Chair.
Thank you, and good morning. We have some resolutions to consider, starting with 19-117, confirming award of contract to Midwest Fence Corporation, $267,000, $232.50, countywide guardrail maintenance for all county board districts, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Van Dyne, second by Ms. Allen. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Dollinger and second by Ms. Berkowitz. All in favor say by aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 19-118, resolution for improvements by county under the Illinois Highway Code for the countywide guardrail maintenance for various county highways, all county board districts using the MFT funds, $300,000. And I so move.
Moved by Mr. Van Dyne, second by Mr. Ventura. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Fritz, second by Ms. Parker. All in favor saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Number 3, 19-119, confirming award of contract to PT Farrell Construction Company, $692,015.94. Division Street, County Highway 75, from Briggs Street, County Highway 62, to Cedar Road, County Highway 4, County Board District 7 and 9, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Van Dyne, second by Mr. Frizzalone. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Balich, second by Ms. Summers. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
19-120, confirming award of contract to PT Farrell Construction Company, $138,772.23, led on April 17th, 2019. Green Garden Road District Overlay, County Board District Number 2, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Van Dyne, second by Ms. Cook. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Summers, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion carried.
19-121, authorizing approval of professional services supplemental agreement for engineering services for 80th Avenue from 191st Street to 183rd Street, County Board Districts 2 and 12, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Van Dyne, second by Ms. Cook. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll, Ray, second by Pastor Brooks. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion carried.
19-122, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for design engineering services, Phase 2 with EXP US Services Incorporated on Bell Road, County Highway 16, from 151st Street north to Martingale Lane, Section 19-00147-14-FP. County Board District 7, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Van Dyne, second by Mr. Balich. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Mueller, second by Ms. Berkowitz. All in favor saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion carried.
And lastly, 19-123, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the Forest Preserve District of Will County and the County of Will for the construction and operation of the Veterans Memorial Trail in the County of Will. County Board District 7, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Van Dyne, second by Mr. Frizzalone. Previous roll by Mr. Balish, second by Mr. Tumanello. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Thank you. And our next Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting is scheduled for June 6, 2019 at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Van Dyne. Very good report. Next up, Judicial Committee. Mr. Markham, Chairman.
Thank you again, Mr. Executive. We have one resolution today, which is 19-124, voiding bid for SWAT vest. I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. Markham, second by Ms. Summers. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Weigel. All in favor say aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Thank you. That's all we have. Our next Judicial Committee meeting is scheduled for June 4th at 9 a.m.
Next up, thank you, Ms. Markham. Next up, Public Health and Safety, Ms. Summers, Chairperson.
Good morning. I just have two reports to be placed on file. First is the Will County Health Department and Community Health Center Annual Report for 2018. And the second is the Will County Regional Office of Education Quarterly Report dating January 1st, 2019 through March 31st, 2019, submitted by Dr. Sean Walsh, Regional Superintendent.
Okay. Moved by Ms. Summers, second by Ms. Rainier. Previous roll. Any discussion? Here's previous roll by Ms. Mueller. Second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
The next Public Health and Safety Committee meeting is scheduled for June 5th, 2019 at 9:30 a.m. immediately following Forest Reserve meetings at the Forest Reserve District building. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Summers. Next committee up, Legislative and Policy Committee, Ms. Rainier, Chairperson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Executive Walsh and all of the fine attendees here at this lovely meeting before the storm. I understand we're going to have like golf ball sized hail today, and a whole nother week of rain. I'm not happy, but you know, my yard loves it. I mean, it is the most beautiful green color. I feel like I'm in Ireland. But all that being said, and it took a while to get that 12 inches worth of grass down to a reasonable size after coming back from Greece. But I wanted to let you know we had a nice discussion at our committee meeting. Board member Cowan gave us an update on what's going on with the ISACO board and about the passage of their bylaws and how the voting will go with that. And she also gave us an update on Mary Jane, aka marijuana, recreation. Very fine piece of on recreational marijuana usage and how that bill is coming along, or what is going on in Springfield, and they still haven't finished all the voting, so we'll have to see. And then we took up the issue of video gaming and whether or not we might bring a resolution in front of the board again to reconsider allowing that in the unincorporated portion of Will County. And the staff is getting that information together, and we will be bringing that forward to the entire board. Our next Legislative and Policy Committee is scheduled for June 11th at 9 a.m. Be there, be square, enjoy the green, and sharpen up those mower blades.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Next up, Capital Improvements Committee, Mr. Brooks, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive, ladies and gentlemen. We always have our committee begin by report. And I think it's very noteworthy to bring back to memory what was shared with us a couple of weeks ago in the Gilbane report, and that is safety. 439 days without lost time or recordable incident. 292,112 safety man hours worked to date. 990 personnel through orientation. And Ray, I think you said it best. You said it was over 95 full-time jobs that is equivalent to. So I thought that was very commendable, and keep up the good work to all our contracts with our project. Now, having said that, I only have one resolution to bring forward, 19-125, authorizing Will County Executive to accept the project control estimate of the new Will County Animal Control Facility and Emergency Management Equipment Storage Building project as submitted by Harbor Contractors Incorporated, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks. Second. Second by Mr. Tominawa. Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Perkins and Ms. Summers, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
And our next capital improvement committee meeting is scheduled for June the 4th, 2019, 11 a.m. Be there. Be square.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
Do I need to sharpen my blade?
Next up, Executive Committee, Ms. Winfrey, Chairperson.
Good morning, Mr. Executive, fellow board members. We have several resolutions to be approved this morning. First is 19-126, renewal of contract with Aon Consulting for benefits, consulting brokerage, and professional services, and the like benefits, administration and communications platform, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Ogala. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Dollinger, second by Mr. Ballage. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
19-127, confirming award of contract to Gallagher Asphalt Corporation, led on May 3rd for National Manhattan Road from Baseline to Magnolia Lane in District 6, and I so move.
Second, moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Van Dyne. Any question? Any question? Previous roll by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Tumanello. All in favor say aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
And 19-128 is a resolution for improvements by the county under the Illinois Highway Code for Arsenal Manhattan Road from Baseline to Magnolia Lane in 6 using fuel funds, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Gould. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll call by Mr. Van Dyne, second by Ms. Cowan. All in favor say aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
19-129, authorizing approval of contract for debris removal located at 2928 West Indiana in Beecher, County Board District 1, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, seconded by Ms. Summers. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Ogala, seconded by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
We have 19-130, authorizing an intergovernmental cooperation agreement between Will and the City of Joliet concerning the Will County Continuum of Care, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, seconded by Mr. Markham. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Harris, by Mr. Harris, seconded by Ms. Cook. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion carried.
19-131, renewing participation participation in state of Illinois federal excess property program, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. O'Donnell. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Ferry, second by Mr. Markham. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
19132, authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with Blue Ridge University to provide access to the countywide radio system, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Mueller. Second, and previous roll call by Ms. Ventura, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
We have 19133, awarding bid for household hazardous waste collection, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, that's second by Ms. Summers. Previous roll call by Ms. Cowan, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
19134, authorizing the county executive to execute a contract addendum with 18 recyclers for turnkey electronic recycling collection and processing services, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey and second by Mr. Van Dyne. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Berkowitz, second by Mr. Wagle. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
19135, authorizing the county executive to execute a contract addendum with 18 recyclers for one-day and Lockport program electronic recycling services, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Parker. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Fritz, second by Mr. Trumanel. All in favor say aye. Aye. Contrary, motion carried.
We have 19136, authorizing renewal of wraparound professional liability insurance for the Will County Community Health Center, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Green. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Frizzalone and second by Mr. Ballas. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion is carried.
19137, affirming the county executive to execute the Regional Transportation Authority for fiscal year 2018 and 19 application for Section 5310 Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disabilities Continuation Projects Grant, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Cowan.
Question.
You want
I
to?
have the same question.
Well, wait a minute, I gotta get a second yet.
Oh,
Oh, you want to second it?
second.
Okay, second.
Yeah, I had a question.
Question?
I remember when we talked about this in the past, my understanding was that the county was just a pass-through on this and it wasn't costing the county any money. I want to make sure that's still a fact.
Nick,
I know this was a question at the Republican caucus last night. From the start, the only cost to the county is the match on Wendy Garlich's salary, which I believe is 20%. Everything else is grant funded. From the start, the county did not want to run the program. This is run through PACE and their procured vendor. We could change that, but from the very start until this time, we've never put any money in for the operations beyond the match. And all this is grant dollars that we've already received, and we're allocating, or we're applying for new money. But just a couple other questions maybe people may have is RTA gives us money and the Area Agency on Agency gives us money. That all comes in, facilitated through the county, but it's really paid for by the townships as they're paying the other side of this. So it's grant money and township money for the most part. So if there's any other questions, I know there were some questions last night, but.
No, my question was pretty similar. I just want to make sure that out of the 20%, that was the only cost of the county, and that we weren't getting caught into something. And I wanted to know who was facilitating the actual money, where the money were being held.
The grant money comes, I think it's actually reimbursement, but Wendy's role is a facilitator in a lot of ways. She has a monthly meeting here where she brings in some of the township reps, social service agencies, and primarily our efforts have been focused in Eastern Will County where they don't have fixed route service except for the train station in University Park. Our original study that the county did pay a match on that too, looked at a comprehensive view of the county. There are, and I'm not going to get into all this now, but there are other existing legacy programs. Our goal ultimately would be to try to integrate them together so they're all kind of connected, but that's been challenging. So our efforts have been focused primarily in Eastern Will County on the paratransit there. But,
and the same goes with the next item on the agenda as well.
These three items are all kind of tied together. And just in case somebody has this question, if the grant goes away, the need for Wendy's position goes away, but we're continuing to seek money, and actually RTA and some of the other partners have been very helpful in identifying the gaps in Will County and trying to help. And in fact, when we started this, the program prior to us taking this on fell apart, and PACE came in right around Christmas time and kept the buses running. We worked with the local board members and officials to keep the service running. But this is the other thing is this is a very targeted program. This isn't a mainline fixed route service. This is targeted for people who would have no other service or would pay exorbitant rates to a private vendor for like a Medivan or whatever. These are primarily doctor's visits, grocery store visits for senior citizens and people with disabilities. And that's, if you look at the grant document, that's what it's funding. It's disabled, seniors, and people who are going to work that wouldn't have access to those things if they didn't have this service. So it's critical. Other counties do contribute money. We've chosen not to contribute any money from our corporate or our RTA or anything. We just pay for the match. So that's
right. But I think it's important to also know that we're not duplicating services and spending additional money. We're piggybacking on what somebody's already set up.
The goal is to try to consolidate services, and we have done that through this subdivision. So,
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else with questions? Motion by previous roll call by Ms. Ventura, second by Ms. Cook. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary? Motion carried.
And these next two are related to that same program. 19-138, authorizing the county executive to execute the Regional Transportation Authority fiscal year 2017, section 5310, enhanced mobility of seniors and individuals with disabilities, continuation projects grant award agreement, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Ferry. Previous roll call by Ms. Cook, Ms. Parker, second by Ms. Gould, Mr. Gould, and all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
In the third leg of that program is 19-139, confirming the county executive to execute the fiscal year 2020 Northeastern Illinois Area on Aging application for grant funds, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Harris. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Mr. Trainier, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
Next we have 19-140. I believe the resolution and the attachments were added to your packages. It is confirming the execution of documents regarding the DuPage River assessment of non-federal sponsors' real estate acquisition capability, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Frizzalone. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Tumanello, second by Mr. Weigel. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
The next is 19-141, and there is a request to remove it from the agenda, and I so move.
Second.
Second, Rachel. Any discussion? Any discussion? Motion for previous roll call. Ms. Mueller. I'm going to get that right. I don't want to go to Moeller. Yeah. Second by Ms. Summers. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Contrary, carried. Motion carried.
19-142, which is replacement hires for the County Executive Maintenance Department, and I so move.
Motion by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Markham. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Ogala, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
We have 19-143, which is replacement hire for the Records Management Department, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Summers. Any discussion? Any discussion? Previous roll by Ms. Parker, second by Ms. Fritz. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
The next Executive Committee meeting will be June 6th at 10 a.m. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much.
We'll go next to the appointments by the County Executive. Mr. Executive, I'm going to ask to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules. That's second by Mr. Tyler. All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary.
Mr. Executive, we have some speakers who have signed up to speak at this time.
Okay, we got three speakers on the issue of the appointing to the Board of Review. So we're going to let you speak before the decision is being made. So we got the first one is Christopher Kosel. Keep it down to 3 minutes, about 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Dear County Board members, I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this morning. I will be brief out of respect to you and all the people in attendance today. I would like to speak to you regarding the appointment of the Board of Review that is on the agenda today. You do have a choice, and you all determine what kind of board this will be. I ask you to keep 3 things in mind when deciding on the appointment: experience, ethics, and ability to do the job. Here's some facts that you should know. The Republican nominee took Intro to Assessment in Illinois just last August, and now wants to hold hearings where your constituents' property taxes will be decided. This nominee took an hourly job at the same township where she is the elected clerk. She earned more than $5,000 in additional in that position. She used this position to expense the costs for classes, and on one occasion, a 3-night stay, all in order to be an assessor. When an inquiry was done to determine the reason for Ms. Smith's termination from the before-mentioned hourly position, the following response was given from the township. Legislation was passed in 2018, effective January 1st, 2019, prohibiting clerks, assessors, and road commissioners from being employees of any township offices. I humbly ask you to do what's best for Will County and its citizens and vote no to appoint Ms. Smith to the Board of Review. By taking this action, it will allow Ms. Sanders to continue with extensive experience, education, and a proven track record until such time that this board feels that a change is needed and another experienced person can be slated for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up is George Pearson. Mr. Pearson.
Good morning, Mr. Executive. Good morning, distinguished members of the board. The Republican nominee that I placed forward for this position on the Board of Review is my decision. It is afforded to me by the rules that are set up by this board. The young lady that I've chosen is well qualified in what the previous person standing here fails to tell you is that she's actually had this experience and worked as a county clerk and as an assessor, and she has had more than just 1 year of experience with this. I have verified this with Mrs. Veronica Thompson, head of your assessment office here. I've even verified that with the Board of Review, the folks that actually write the legislation and the rules, and they have deemed her qualified. What I don't understand is why they're against my appointment. I come to a couple of different conclusions. One that I will not air out here because I find it despicable. This is my decision alone, by the approval of the executive with you all's consent. The young lady again appointed was deemed qualified by all parties invested in this. One last. The young lady that she's replacing had been telling us several times that she was stepping down. Not once, but twice. So as we go out and we look for other people to step up, to take the mantles that are being left, and then we turn around and have to tell them, well, no, we have to push away your nomination because the individual has changed their mind. It becomes disheartening for those that we ask to step up and serve the people within the county. At some point, we have to have resolution, we have to be stern, and we have to make a decision, whether some folks like it or not, and that decision resided in me to make this appointment. I could not wait, nor was I going to play the game of back and forth of if this individual was going to stay or not. Twice, she advises that she would not be seeking the term again. Twice, we went after folks to qualify them for this position. Therefore, I will not be changing my mind as it has been done twice before. Thank you for your time, Mr. Executive and County Board members.
Thank you. Next up is Moran Roderick.
Good morning, and thank you, Larry, our County Executive Board, and all of you as board members of the Will County Board. I've been an 18-year political position, 12 years on the Illinois School Board, 6 years now serving on Joliet Junior College Board. My concern and focus is on transparency and constantly being transparent as we are elected officials, and also having people with experience. And while we talk about transparency, I have asked numerous times, and I've talked to many of you and told you my concerns of why I do not support Sue Smith for this position. Transparency, I couldn't even find out where our chairman came up with the candidates. It was not as in the previous past where Kathy Havel had gone through and circulated through all the precinct committeemen, the chairman, information to come on and see if anyone would apply for this board position. There were 14 members that did apply 2 years ago. I don't know where the process is at that escaped at this time, because nobody can tell me how one person was selected. That troubles me. I don't see the transparency in that. As for qualifications, and I've talked to Nicole Saunders many, many times, because Nicole Saunders, I respect her as a board member. I respect her in her position on the county board. Nicole has the Certificate of Illinois Assessment Officer, which is a CIAO designation. She's a graduate of the Realtors Institute, so she has her GRI. In the Illinois Department of Revenue and the Illinois Property Assessment Institute, she has over 360 continuing ed in assessment, theory, and practice. 16 years service on the Will County Board. She served as the chairman of this board for 3 terms, 48 years as a real estate active practicing realtor in Will County. She's lived in New Lenox for 51 years. I look at experience, and I've spoken to Nicole. Nicole has told me, yeah, there's been times when you don't want to do a job. We all have that where we get upset and we say we're fed up with the job. But not once did the chairman come and directly speak to her and ask her anything. It's all been hearsay. Hearsay doesn't work in my part. I'm a lender. I need to know what facts are facts. And I presented you all with facts when I've told you and spoken to your groups. I please ask you to vote no for the appointment, because transparency is a key. Voting no means you are transparent. Voting yes means there's no transparency. I respect your vote, I respect you all, and respect my 18 years of being politically involved and being transparent. And we need to know if a board exam is the only thing that is bringing Ms. Smith here that wasn't taken before the recommendation was brought to the board. We need to look at the criteria for people on the board of review. You're at a $50,000 salary about. What are you guys doing? You guys are about $23,000. Look at the amount of work that you do and the experience that you bring to the table and what you do with your job. The Board of Appeal is a very high-level job. You're going to see a lot of appellants that come in. I know, because I've appealed my taxes. It's very critical to have people that know what they're doing and can talk to you and have the experience to deal with the situations at hand. This is a quad year, and you need to be really dealing with experienced people in that board. A no vote is what I'm asking you for. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Moran. Any discussion? Any discussion? Madam Clerk? Roll. Did you guys give hand up? Lori? Did you? What? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay, back to Ms. Winfrey. You continue.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. I move to reinstate the rules.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very motion carried.
Thank you. Mr. Executive, I move the appointments forward as stated.
Second.
Wait, take that one out? Because didn't we have this from before where if we don't make a motion to remove one, it's all together as a group?
Mr. Executive, I ask to move the appointments forward and in a block as stated.
All of them will put together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Motion to move on all the appointments and boards and commissions. By Ms. Winfrey, second,
Second.
Ogala.
Previous.
Roll call.
Previous.
Previous vote by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Ms. Berkowitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary?
Nay.
I'd like to be a no vote.
You no vote? Who else? Beth? Kenny? You?
No, yes.
You all right? Motion carried.
That concludes my report, Mr. Executive.
Thank you. Next up, comments by county board members. Oh, I'm sorry, public comment. Anybody wish to speak in regard to anything that was discussed here today from the public? Anybody wish to speak from the public? I guess not. Next on, now it's time for the county board members. Anybody? Mr. Terry?
Thank you, Mr. Executive. I have a letter to read to everyone in this room. I was going to say just the board members, but everyone. And it is from Don Moran. And it reads as follows. It has been one of my life's greatest honors serving on the Will County Board, representing my constituents from Romeoville and Bolingbrook. When elected in 2016 for my second four-year term, it was my obvious intention to serve out the entire term. This coincided with my intended retirement from my day job in 2020. Unfortunately, or fortunately, my day job changed my retirement plan, allowing me to retire a year sooner than I intended with the same benefit level. Over the years, I've seen too many friends and loved ones work beyond the necessary time, only to squander what could have been a rich period in their life, to only have their life end perhaps sooner than they ever imagined. It's been my dream to retire in the desert since my being stationed there during my military tenure in the U.S. Air Force. This past March, I began my quest to find a retirement home without a real hurry, though noting the accelerating rates of real estate inflation in that part of the country. In November, I found a wonderful home in Arizona, and I've been traveling there a couple of weekends a month, putting the place together. It's my hope that this will be my home for many years of happy retirement. That said, I am offering my resignation and retirement from the Will County Board effective June 1st, 2019. And further, I've been blessed to work with so many people here, from staff to board members on both sides of the aisle, to staff and leadership in NACO, and of course our state and federal legislators and their staffs. I'll miss all of you and expect the great things that this board has accomplished to continue. We've always managed to put our constituents before parties. Even when the 13-13 split existed, we managed to always get the county business done. I'm proud of that, as I'm sure all of you are as well. Thank you to all of you that took me under their wing and mentored me. I know that will always be appreciated. Good luck going forward. If there's anything I can ever do for any of you, feel free to reach out to me. If you're in the desert Southwest, look me up. Respectfully, Don Moran. Thank you, County Executive.
Thank you, Mark. up on, Joe, with you? Want to speak? Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Just a friendly reminder to everyone that the county board has signed up again this year for the Relay for Life, and it will take place at ATI Memorial Field here in Joliet. That's over by Inwood on June 1st, 2019. We're asking the board members to arrive at 11:45 a.m. to participate in the opening ceremonies and a group picture. We also will have a tent located at the southwest end of the track, and you will receive a wellness point for attending if you go down to the tent and sign in. I would like to encourage all of our members to go on the website relayforlife.org and search for the Team Will County Board, and please sign up. We're also asking each board member to try to either make a small personal donation to our team, or we're looking for maybe putting together a basket from each member of around a $50 basket that we can raffle off at our fundraiser. Those will be raffled off June 6th at the executive committee meeting. So I believe that is it. Ms. Berkowitz would like to talk about our fundraiser real quick.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Van Dyne. Who's next now? Oh, Julie, okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry. Just a reminder that we have an event on May 28th, and the Will County Board will be bartending for a cure, and staff has forwarded us all this flyer via email, and Joe and I would like to encourage all of you to sign up for a slot to serve that night. If you're worried about showing up, or you might have a last minute change, don't worry, we'll have your back. We understand that things happen, but take a moment and sign the sheet. It's right over here, stop by. Also, we're hoping to possibly have some of our raffle baskets that night, so we can have them on display and sell our raffle tickets. And again, it's May 29th from 5 to 9 p.m. at Dock, oh, May 28th, thank you. The Dock at Inwood Restaurant at 3000 West Jefferson Street. So please put that on your calendar, and any questions, let us know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Again, Mr. Harris?
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone that we are in budget meeting with the departments. So also we're looking to schedule a budget workshop for any questions that anyone may have, or concerns, or just need to be more educated about the process. Just should have got an email from Moran. Just respond to that and try to arrange something that's convenient for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to my colleague Don Moran. He was very instrumental working with me on capital. I know in his time when I was chairman, you know, I learned more about balancing a building with heating and air probably than I ever needed to know for the rest of my life. But I did talk to him. I knew this was his dream. We've talked about it for a couple of years. And who knew that two individuals from opposite sides of the aisle could become good friends and have so much fun together. I will tell you, I assured him last night that I would not bring up or talk about him riding a bull without his pants on. I also assured him, and I know he's watching this, so he will be anyway, so. I also assured him that I would not give our secret on how we were so fast at the NASCAR challenge down in Charlotte. The fact that he had me out there for 3 hours practicing before the big event so we could do it in front of a whole bunch of people. But the funniest thing I think I'll remember about Don Moran was while we were walking through the Aerospace Museum in Washington, D.C. And it was just he and I, because the county didn't want to spend any money on our registration for NACO. So he said, you know, so we were supposed to come back like the next day to give another presentation. So we had an entire day to kill. And he said, let's go to the Aerospace Museum. He knows that I love flying and I've been a pilot for a long time. And I said, absolutely. So we're walking in there and he's like a little kid and he sees this simulator. And I noticed that the simulator has 5-point harnesses and it goes, you know, upside down, goes all around. And everybody who was in the line before us was just kind of going back and forth, you know, a little bit. And he says, well, I want you to fly. And he goes, I'm going to be the gunner. He says, I'd like to shoot down the airplanes with the missiles. I'm really good at it. Okay. So I talked to the guy who we were going up, and beforehand I said, now this thing does, you know, full 360s and around barrel rolls. And he says, absolutely. Well, not many people do them. I said, okay. So we get inside the machine, and Don Moran's sitting there. He's the big guy who's in the military, and I'm just this little guy sitting next to him. And I said, are you ready, Don? Is your seatbelt tight? And he said, yeah, seatbelt's tight. And he was sitting there. So I tucked my tie in. And so we come off the aircraft carrier. I'm doing barrel rolls, and he's screaming like a little kid inside. So you see big old Don Moran screaming. And at one point, I took the plane and I went right upside down towards the ground, and we're chasing after an airplane. And he's trying to fire the missile. Unbeknownst to us, there's a picture inside the machine that takes a picture of us doing this, right? So here I got this like intense pace, and I'm flying. I got my hand on the throttle and one on the yoke, and Don is sitting there like this. Upside down, tied to his face. I don't even know what he's shooting. He doesn't know what he's shooting. But I had a great time with Don Moran over the last 5 years, and I'm certainly going to miss him. Not too much, because I'm sure I'll be down in Arizona visiting him real soon. So Don, I didn't want to give away our secrets, but I really, truly appreciated all your friendship, the time we spent together, and your honesty throughout all the political maneuvering we sometimes had to go through. But I appreciate the board member that you were. Thank you.
I just want to thank the board members who voted to adopt the Wear Orange for National Gun Violence Awareness Day proclamation, and I really appreciate your support in this important matter.
Thank you. Any, Tim? You got it.
I just want, yeah, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to address that proclamation that we discussed. Got a little heated there, so I decided to wait for public comments. From the day I came in here, I'm a first-term county board member. I noticed that there was a bipartisan feel that we worked together and respected one another. And over the past few months, maybe 6 months or so, that seems to have gotten away from us a little bit at the county board. And to be honest with you, and I think we're bringing up some subject matters and some issues that are partisan in nature. I think this is one of them. And I just want to get on the record of why I voted a no on this. It's not that I'm not aware of gun violence. It's not that I'm not opposed to gun violence. I loathe gun violence. I also loathe knife violence, blunt object violence, poisoning. People are poisoned, beaten to death. The problem is that we're politicizing violence. And this is a pure example of doing it, to take one inanimate object to the exclusion of other inanimate objects to make a political point. So I can tell you I won't be wearing orange. And I respectfully disagree, and I want to emphasize this, respectfully disagree with my colleagues to the left of me, as well as those of my own caucus. I'm uncomfortable participating in the politicizing of violence against people of Will County for political purposes. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Gloria?
Yes, I have a couple of things. First of all,
I'd like to give a shout out to Joliet Township High School and the Chicagoland Speedway. They had a collaboration this last school year with students in their media program. And last Friday, Tyler and I had the opportunity of watching some video commercials in a contest, and 2 of the students will have their video commercials aired at the race at the end of June. So that was pretty exciting, and it's nice to see collaborations with different organizations. Also, I'd like to thank the land use and all the recycling efforts. In District 10, we don't have a lot of unincorporated areas, but the recycling effort is something that really impacts. And I have to say, the last couple of weeks, I've had a lot of people comment that they are participating, and I know we have a paper shredding event at our local library, so it is one way that the residents of District 10 are able to participate in county events. And then I am going to just make a brief statement about month of June. I take it on a little different perspective. I think it gives us all an opportunity to work in collaboration with other people to kind of support nonviolence. I also think it gives us an opportunity to work with local law enforcement to get into neighborhoods and help others grow and their families grow. As I do support the Second Amendment, I think the Declaration did say comments that are supportive of the Second Amendment. And so I just want to make sure that we know that it's also about trying to make communities grow and be better and be safer. Thank you.
Thank you, Moran. Rachel?
Yes, hi. I wanted to just enforce or reinforce what Joe Van Dyne and Julie Berkowitz had said about the Relay for Life. Joe had forgot to mention that several of us are wearing purple in support of that event. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. And if you haven't had a chance to go onto Relay for Life to join the Will County Board team, I encourage you to do so. I also just wanted to thank Ray for the stories of Don Moran. I know I've only been on the board for a short period of time, and Don and I had some disagreements early on, but what was impressive to me is that he took me under his wing and was a mentor, and we could speak openly about our disagreements and come to compromise so that it didn't stall government. So I will definitely miss Don Moran. I feel that there's a lot of experience I could have learned from him, and so I wish him well in his retirement. And Ray, thank you for those enlightening stories.
Thank you. Maureen, Ms. Summers?
Thank you, Executive Walsh. Earlier this month, I had the opportunity of going to Joliet West High School, where they caught for students who were planning to go into a healthcare field. They were there, they called us judges, but more often than that, it was about talking to them and how they would present themselves during an interview. I want to tell you something. The future is bright. We're going to be in good hands. Those students at that high school impressed me. They knew what they were talking about, and they actually bonded with a young lady that I was able to direct her to shadow someone in the field she wanted to go into. And again, her future's bright. And Ray, spot on. And you, Donna Rand, go, because I wish I was going there with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Berkowitz?
I wanted to make a brief comment again about the proclamation. After having the opportunity to hear it read, although it's very difficult to digest so much information in that type of a setting, and hearing from our board member, her, out of her and respect for him, and the fact that I did not feel that it had any negative intonations to the Second Amendment, I did support that proclamation. However, I am still disappointed that it seems like my colleagues to the left of me all have a copy of the proclamation.
No, we do not.
Oh,
we do
no,
not.
never saw it. Okay. Nobody has a copy of the proclamation? Well, that again is another part of the problem. So if that is the case, I would appreciate it if we could to make sure that we are given the opportunity to have these materials before we do vote on them. And I appreciate everything that staff does and my coworkers. And I'm just putting that out there in a friendly suggestion. And in no means am I trying to complain about anybody, but I feel it is important. Communication is important. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yeah.
I guess I'll make a comment too about the gun awareness or violence proclamation. It's a very sensitive subject, obviously. I voted in favor of the proclamation, but I agree that violence is violence, and everyone should be aware of the harm they can do to everyone every day of the year. I hope this proclamation was brought forth for its sincerest intentions and for no other reasons. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Fritz?
Lest anyone think that I am making things up or speaking from personal experience, I'd just like to point out that the Centers for Disease Control in 1996 to 1998 conducted a study based on an enormous sample of 12,870 cases. Their study concluded that guns are used offensively by victims about 3.6 times as often as they are used offensively by criminals. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody left? Hey. Oh, yeah.
I want to apologize for not wearing purple today. I didn't get the memo. But I am supporting Julie McCabe's first team, the Carson Elmores. And I'll see you out at ATIC.
Okay. Now, let's go to our majority leader, Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. I'm going to stay away from that June thing, but I do want to re-acknowledge the 110 years, 110th anniversary of the Fort Erie Elks Lodge number 167. I hope they keep going for another 100 or more years. Who cares? I mean, let's not say that 100 is just 110. Let's stop. Let's keep going. And then, on a lighter note, I would like to do a shout out for a group that I'm in. On June 4th, 1969, Lockport Central High School released into society 380 members of the class of 69, and I was one of them. And we're going to be celebrating our 50th year away from Lockport Central. There is something in June to remind you about. When the Canal Days, there will be definitely a presence of the class of 69 at the beer tent at Canal Days. So you'll see us all there. We'll all be there. And our mantra was, we are great, we are fine, we're the class of 69. And that's it. Thank you.
You don't look that old.
Thank you. How much do I owe you after being down there?
The minority leader, Mr. Frizzalone.
Good morning, Will County.
Good morning, Mike.
And I do have a couple comments. First, I am a man of my word, so I won't be telling you that Don Moran But we did have a good time on many of the trips that we were at, many of the seminars that we went together. Always good conversation, always supportive of each other in any of the endeavors we were doing, and he will be missed on this board. Oh, yes. I would like to say congrats to the Elks as well. Yeah, 110 years is a long time, makes me feel young. And I will not be commenting. I think we've had enough comments on the other proclamation. I do want to say congratulate all the graduates. I mean, we're going to be entering that period in the next week. Some I know already graduated, but they're going to be graduating by the boatload. Everybody will be running out to different graduation and parties as well. So make sure you're watching the areas where you see a whole bunch of cars. There's obviously a graduation party and there'll be a lot of kids and people running around. So be aware of that. Now, the year was 1992 in December. A younger man named Jim Moustis was on his first county board meeting. And he hasn't missed one since then until now. It's just an amazing record of 26 years not missing a county board meeting. He, like Jackie, took the opportunity to go to Greece looking for where his relatives came from. And I did see a picture of him at the Acropolis, obviously looking for Socrates and Plato to impart his wisdom to me. And last thing I'd like to mention is Memorial Day is coming up soon. And if you read on the history of Memorial Day, the idea of honoring fallen heroes actually started back in 431 BC in Athens. So Jim's probably searching that out as well. It really kind of started in 1868 here in the U.S., but it wasn't an official holiday until 1971. So make sure when you are having your hot dogs and the friends over for Memorial Day, drinking a beer, that we remember what the day is really about, all of our fallen heroes. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Winfrey, our board speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. Just a couple of things. I'm old enough, Mike, to remember when I was little, Memorial Day was actually called Declaration Day. And that's going back some years. And I've already had my 50th class reunion. I'm past that point as well. I don't know about the 26 years unbroken record, though. That's going to take a lot of, probably some cryogenics or something. I'll pass on that. Certainly going to miss Don. He has been a boon to this board, always willing to share his information, his knowledge on capital projects, on just how the inner workings of buildings go, and all of that. So luckily we are further along in all of our projects since he's going to be leaving. This was, he's done. So we'll have to recruit somebody else to give us some information going forward. Or we may have to put some long distance calls in there so we can get that. Arizona on the line, hey, what's going on with the health department? We need to check for. We're going to miss him. Had the opportunity earlier this week, Brooks and I were at the YMCA Teen Young Achievers Banquet in District 204. So when you talk about future in good hands, it certainly is. We had some motivated, inspiring, really focus-driven young people there, and they planned the entire banquet themselves, put it on. And so a great evening, an opportunity to see what's ahead of us and what can be done. I also had the opportunity last night to be at the baccalaureate services for JCA. A godchild is graduating on Sunday. But looking at the crop of kids there and the different medals and certificates and what they have done is really encouraging about where this county is going and what we can expect into the future. And I'm excited. Looking forward to it. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Would like to take a moment of your time. We have an employee that is retiring at the end of this month. Rita Weiss has decided to retire. She started with the county in February of 1999 with the circuit clerk's office. She started with the county executive office in April of 2005. She has been the purchase director for the last 14 years. Rita is an outstanding employee. He is respected by all in Will County. Her work ethic has been evident. She is willing to help no matter what she is asked Sincerely, Rita, Ben. And
want to be able to call you too.
And on a personal note, I want to, I've had a rough winter in the last rough 6 months. 6 months of chemo, and two of my brothers died within 5 weeks of one another. And so it's been a tough time, but I want to thank all of you, all the people in the county that took time to send me a card and then make a phone call, and some of them sent me every month a card. And the amount of prayers that were given, and honestly, prayers do work. And so I had my last treatment 3 weeks to 2 weeks ago. I'm all done with treatments, and I have some pills to take, and they better work for me. Anyway, so I had I got well quick because I had such a great nurse at home that helped. Just thank you for your consideration and thoughts and prayers. So we have, we need to go into executive session for pending litigation. So everybody will take about 5-10 minute break, and we'll be back here. And we gotta have a motion. I have a motion to go into by Mr. Justice, second by Mr. Prince. Let's listen up, county board members. We're gonna take a roll.
Gary?
Yes.
Frizalone?
Yes.
Ogalla?
Yes.
Summers?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Rainier?
Yes.
Fritz?
Yes.
Mueller?
Yes.
Rule? Van Dyne?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yeah.
Parker?
Yes.
Ventura?
Yes.
Ballinger?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
Berkowitz?
Yes.
Cowan?
Yes.
Tumanello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Strelitis?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
24. Be back here for 5 minutes.